I'm so torn about what my partner did. Need advice ASAP. It was a Tuesday, 6 months after the wedding, and I was drowning in spreadsheets. The new campaign was a beast, eating up every spare second I had. Mark was equally consumed, apparently. The architectural firm was buzzing about his design for the new skyscraper downtown. Iconic was the word being thrown around. We just bought a condo in Lincoln Park. 2 bedrooms, exposed brick, a balcony overlooking the park. It was our space. We painted the living room a soft gray, the color of a cloudy Chicago sky. It felt permanent. Emily, my best friend since freshman year of college, called. Girl, tonight. Sushi and gossip. My place, 7 sharp. Emily's apartment was a riot of color and organized chaos. She was a lawyer, sharp and fiercely independent. You look exhausted, she said, pouring me a glass of wine. Marriage treating you okay? I laughed. It's great, just busy. Mark's been working insane hours. Heard about that skyscraper. Apparently, it's going to be the architectural equivalent of sliced bread. We spent the evening dissecting the dating lives of our mutual friends and making fun of our disastrous college hairstyles. It was exactly what I needed. That first niggle of unease came a few weeks later. Mark had been coming home later and later. He'd always been attentive, quick to ask about my day, to offer a back rub when I was stressed. Now, he seemed distant. He'd be on his phone constantly, a subtle tension in his shoulders. Everything okay, babe? I asked one night as he was getting ready for bed. He was already in his pajamas, scrolling through something on his phone. He looked up, startled. Yeah, fine. Just work. Lots of late nights coming up. He kissed me quickly on the forehead and turned off the light. It felt hollow. Then came the company holiday party. It was held at some fancy downtown hotel. I'd spent hours picking out the perfect dress, a classic black sheath that showed off my curves. Mark looked handsome in his suit, his eyes crinkling at the corners when he smiled. For a few hours, everything felt normal. I was chatting with Sarah from accounting when I saw her. Olivia. She was younger, maybe late 20s, with long blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. She was talking to Mark, her hand resting lightly on his arm. They were laughing. A ridiculous, irrational stab of jealousy pierced through me. I shook it off. She was just a colleague. I was being ridiculous. Later that night, after we'd gotten home and were already in bed, Mark's phone buzzed. He was asleep, his breathing deep and even. I knew I shouldn't. I really knew I shouldn't. But the unease had been building, festering like a wound. I picked up his phone. The message was from Olivia. Thanks for tonight. Had so much fun. Our little secret is safe with me. My blood ran cold. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. I stared at the message, my hands shaking. I woke Mark up. What the hell is this? I demanded, shoving the phone in his face. He blinked, confused. Then his face paled. What? What are you doing? This message. Olivia. What secret? He stammered, trying to explain it away. It's nothing. She's just flirty. She's like that with everyone. It's totally innocent. Innocent? What kind of innocent involves secrets? He insisted it was a misunderstanding, a joke gone wrong. He swore there was nothing between them. He looked me straight in the eye and lied. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him. But the seed of doubt had been planted. The next day, I told Emily everything. We were at our usual coffee shop, the steam from our lattes swirling around us. She listened patiently, her expression grim. Sarah, I don't want to alarm you, but that doesn't sound good. At all. He swears it's nothing. He says I'm overreacting. Maybe he's telling the truth, she said cautiously. But you need to find out for sure. Do some digging, but be prepared for what you might find. Digging. The thought made me sick, but I couldn't live with the uncertainty. I started subtly questioning Mark's coworkers. Casual conversations, seemingly innocent inquiries about his late nights. David, his best friend and business partner, was particularly uncomfortable. He kept deflecting, changing the subject. One night, I was paying bills online when I noticed a charge on our credit card. A hotel. The Lakeview Inn. It was near Mark's office. The date was a Tuesday, the same night he'd claimed to be working late. My hands trembled as I pulled up the hotel's website. The pictures mocked me. Plush bedding, romantic lighting. That night, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, replaying every conversation, every interaction with Mark in my head. Were there signs I'd missed? Had I been too caught up in my own career to notice what was going on? I scrolled through Olivia's social media, mostly pictures of her at work, at the gym, out with friends. Then I saw it. A picture of her wearing a delicate silver necklace. It was a design I'd seen at a boutique a few months earlier. I'd considered buying it for Mark's birthday, but decided against it. The truth hit me like a physical blow. I confronted Mark again. This time, I was armed with evidence. The hotel bill, the necklace, the inconsistencies in his stories. He crumbled. He admitted it. A brief affair. He said it had been a mistake, a moment of weakness. He blamed the stress of the project, Olivia's, advances. He swore it was over. He begged for forgiveness. "I love you, Sarah," he pleaded, tears streaming down his face. "Please, don't leave me." I felt nothing. Numb. Empty. I kicked him out. He packed a bag and left, his face etched with despair. He went to stay with David. The silence in the condo was deafening. Our home, once filled with laughter and warmth, now felt cold and sterile. I called Emily. She came over immediately, armed with wine and ice cream. "What are you going to do?" she asked, her voice gentle. "I don't know," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I don't know anything anymore." I spent the next few days in a haze of grief and anger. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I replayed the events over and over in my head, searching for answers, for explanations. I texted Olivia. I needed to hear it from her, to understand. We met at a bar downtown. She was even more striking in person, radiating a confidence that bordered on arrogance. "Why?" I asked, my voice shaking. She shrugged. "He wanted me." "It happened. You were always working. He was lonely. You knew he was married." "So?" she said, her eyes cold. "He's a grown man. He made his choice." I slapped her. Hard. I walked out, leaving her sitting there, stunned. The next few weeks were a blur. Mark called constantly, leaving voicemails begging for forgiveness. My mother, Carol, called, urging me to forgive him, to save our marriage. "These things happen, darling," she said, her voice laced with disapproval. "You need to think about the bigger picture." Mark's mother, Susan, also called, pleading with me to understand Mark's stress and forgive his mistake. I felt suffocated by their expectations, by the weight of their opinions. I started seeing a therapist. It helped, a little. She listened without judgment, offering me tools to process my emotions, to navigate the uncertainty. "What do you want, Sarah?" she asked me one day. "Not what your mother wants, or Mark's mother wants, or what society expects. What do you want?" I didn't know. One evening, Mark texted me. "Can we talk?" "Please." I hesitated. I didn't want to see him, to hear his excuses. But I knew I couldn't avoid it forever. We met at a park near our condo. It was a crisp autumn evening, the leaves swirling around us like confetti. He looked terrible, exhausted, defeated. He apologized. Again. He told me he'd been going to therapy, trying to understand why he did what he did. He said he'd transferred to a different department at work, to avoid any contact with Olivia. He promised to be a better husband, a better man. "I know I messed up," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I know I hurt you, but I love you, Sarah. I always have. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn back your trust." I looked at him, really looked at him. I saw the pain in his eyes, the genuine remorse, and I felt something, a flicker of hope, a spark of forgiveness, but also a deep, aching fear. "I don't know, Mark," I said, my voice trembling. "I just don't know if I can ever trust you again." He reached for my hand. I let him take it. His touch felt familiar, comforting, but also tainted. "I understand," he said, "but please, give me a chance. Let me show you that I'm worth it." I didn't answer. I couldn't. "I need more time," I finally said. "I need space to think, to figure out what I want." He nodded, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and despair. As I turned to leave, he stopped me. "Sarah," he said, his voice low, "there's something else you need to know." He paused, his expression troubled. "Olivia, she's pregnant."